Okay, so where were I? So basically, I was talking to the cops at my job that were not on the crime scene with me, and I lost my badge, I lost my gun, I lost everything, I lost my memory. So yeah, I'm not sure where was I. Let's see my quest. And let's see what I have. What is this? Yuna and Kerchief. Where did I put this? Island Empire. Empathy. Oh, I can level up. I got 5 level. Why do I need? Why should I upgrade more? Empathy? You know, my character is really good in the psyche thing, so... Hunches and gut feelings, dreams in walking life. Psyche. Let's just upgrade, like, the one I see a lot. Like this one. Wait, I cannot? Oh, it's... Empathy. Yeah, sure, empathy. And that's it. I only had 2 levels, and I only did Inland Empire. Okay. Okay. What are my quests? I need to drink. I need to still find ammonia to get the body. And yeah. Pretty much find ammonia. And the gardener here kind of added. Who is this guy? Hello.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
Wow. The man mutters to himself, accenting the beats as he goes. Keep listening, I am the law. What's going on here?
It's the jam, my man.
The jam? We hear you, man. He motions toward the sprawl of lorries with a sweeping gesture. What's the jam?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days.
He glances up and south down the road.
Upon days.
Okay, so he's stuck here. Limbo. So that's where I am. How long have you been here?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
The oil and the fumes of my mazout. Extravagantly phrased, but I can't roll with it. I don't quite understand what you just said. You just say it again, little plotting.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Okay.
The laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
So tell me, what do you need?
Care to spare some change for a working stiff? Tell me more about this strike. Know anything about the dead man? The one hanging beyond the hotel? Yeah, that's why I'm in here.
He ain't one of
Tell me
us
about the
drivers.
buddy.
I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
Busy with what?
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Wow. What? Wait, what? What's your conclusion? What did you find in your
A sense of surprise
wisdom?
there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees.
This guy is so weird. What do you mean? There's no bar. You're... Dude. Can I just spare some change? I need to... Yeah, please.
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work.
They who?
Bosses, man.
The bosses, man. Don't get it, bro. The bosses. Makes sense. First work they pay. I don't know who these bosses think they are, but that sounds like a good arrangement for them. So your bro got it. What else did I have to ask here?
You know,
Tell me
What
about
you
this strike.
it's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands. No way in or out.
What's the union demanding? Yeah, what are they demanding?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess.
So basically the union was like the kind of police force there. Because they are the guy that like take care of like the law and stuff like that. So I guess the union is there too and like working there.
I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
He takes a note. We'll meet her soon. Okay. What do you think the company wants?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Okay. Anything else I should know?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
All of who?
Us lorry drivers. Cam, your nurse. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Yeah,
Not my
gameplay.
thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
What a nerd. He glances down the road towards the horizon and glid. Where's your
What's
fun,
better
bro?
than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
Yeah, yeah. First drug, then the other. You'll find. What are you alling anyway?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Oh, you sell cool stuff.
Time to arrest him.
You're under arrest? Wicked, I always wanted a friend in this underworld. Yep, you know what? He's going to be our spy. He's going to be our spy. That's why I'm going to try to play with him. He's going to be my spy, and he's going to take stuff for me. Wicked, I've always wanted a friend in the underworld, okay? What are you actually alling?
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. Mostly sporting goods,
Fentanyl?
tracksuits and that kind of thing.
Oh, he doesn't do
They
drugs.
usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately.
Oh, we just sell boring stuff. Can I get one of those phone tracksuit you're alling?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
That's your machine behind
It's
you?
fucking beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
Yeah, these lorries are pretty neat. Interested? Not really. I just asked because, I don't know, must be a cop reflex. Does he know I'm a cop? Or...
Yeah, it must be. Your job's to know all these little things, isn't it? Well, my job is to deliver tracksuit trousers.
He passed the back of the lorry.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry.
So when there's this weird voice, that means like it's one part of my mind that's talking to me. And my character is like oriented to have like more psychology-ish reflexes. So most of my voices I feel are based upon like empathy and stuff like that. That's what I felt, you know, for now. But at the same time, it's like this guy is so fucking weak. Cannot do nothing. So nothing illegal then.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Right, I have another
The
question.
man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
What do you see in his eyes? Yeah, what do I see? What do I see? I'm going to look at him. What do I see?
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. Flecks of brown and gold.
Familiar how?
It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon.
What? They just look it
The
away.
road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or ramping up or down highways. It forms a crisscross pattern across the land.
I don't know what I said. He's just talking about roads. What's the deal? Shake of the days. Where does it lead?
Above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway.
I don't even have a map. I'm not going to remember all of this.
Of Forberg, high above buildings, new and old. The air filled with the rumble of motor engines.
Further.
To the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance, past Montmartin. The border approaches.
What's beyond the border?
You cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks. It is cold.
I don't understand. Am I imagining or am I like having like visions about stuff?
Excuse me?
Or did I get into his head? I'm a cop, I can fix anything? Really, you can tell me. Hell, I get longing. I felt something similar since I woke up. I'm a cop, I can fix anything? No, I'm going to... I'm like human. Yeah.
Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way. Waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home.
Diora?
Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much. On another island called Laurentide, off mainland. We've got a little place there. Can almost hear my kid laugh when it snows.
What is it like to miss someone?
What's
Let's
it
see.
like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios and great...
Okay.
What about you, cop man? You missing someone?
I don't have memory. I miss your
Is that
mom.
what it is? This feeling?
What feeling?
No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow. And
I miss my gun. I want my gun back, please. My shotgun, my beloved. I'm fine, don't miss anyone. I miss someone, but I don't know who it is. Yeah, I'll just say that. I miss my gun.
You lost your gun. Oh man, that's bad news. Especially here. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone. And I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through your own troubles.
Thanks you, man. I'm good for now. Good talk.
Don't be a stranger.
What do you mean, don't be a stranger? How are you not a stranger when you first meet someone? That's like kind of impossible. What's over here? Okay, there's a bunch of stuff here. Goods from a lorry and flies, blah blah blah. Okay. And there's like a little platform here. Is there anyone else? Oh, there's a box here? Physical in... Oh, yeah. I got a shirt, finally. Wait, where's my shirt? Oh, here we go. I was fucking almost naked for all those conversations. What is this? There's another box? Oh, money. Nice. I can pay off my debt. A bit.
the small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face.
Hello, lady.
It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes, and food money. Maybe she's your...
Grandma? Snap her finger in front of her face. Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to ask some question.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail.
Grandma? Grandma?
Nothing. Her smile. Just keep no. This one is a monster in disguise.
What do you mean? What's this voice? What do you mean the monster? Snap your finger in front of her face. Hey, wake up!
She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone.
Why?
Why? I just told you why.
Because she's old? Maybe she killed someone, bro. What is this cup? Only guys can do kills, I guess. Okay, nothing here. There's a guy here. Hello. Oh, we cannot talk. I'll work for 2. The lorries probably store fuel there. Store the booze. Oh, they're protesting. Hello.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
The man yells toward the arbor gates. His voice is the loudest of the lot, and oddly screechy for a man of his size. What's going on here?
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops
Fuck politics! The broad-shouldered alpha male turns to you. Oh, he's so Sigma Alpha, bro. He's a full head taller than everyone else
You're
here.
here to fuck with us. Beat the honest worker down.
Why should I?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
Okay, then I'm thinking no.
Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
I'm
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of causes are we talking about? I don't think I've chosen any side yet. Regardless, I have some question. What kind of causes are we talking about?
Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have...
Look, I'm here to do my job. If you're the dude that's going to make my job easier, you're my guy. If the other side is it's going to be easier, you're not my guy. I don't think I've chosen any side yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you.
Okay.
Cop. I don't trust cops. But I can see you understand the... Right to work! Right to work!
Regardless, I have some question for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, why we're not allowed to make... We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
He points his finger at the man sitting on the railing.
So do we, Scab.
Tell me so who is that? Who's the guy? What is a strike? I want to get into the arbor too. We're all this strike baker. What exactly is your goal here?
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
Oh, they lost their job. And you were unable to breach the entrance? Okay, I wanted to discuss something else. And you're unable to breach?
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked.
He points up to the...
Guards blocking the way to the access panel.
Okay.
And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is.
Have you considered storming in, like, all of you? Just, like, storming the capital. Just go in. Wait, head measurer? Who's that?
Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by.
Okay.
The access panel is right behind.
How bad could one guy be? You seem capable.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Have you considered storming in, like, all of you?
Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal...
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
Okay, well, I want to get into the arbor too.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Trying to meet their fat boss.
Your fat pig boss. I'm interviewing people about a murder that took place here behind the hotel cafeteria here.
I know nothing about a murder.
Why
The
is...
mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him.
Ooh. Ooh, he got a shiver. I saw that. I saw nothing?
Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive.
Okay, he's back to like...
Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for work.
Bro, stop! Stop! I don't care. I don't know. This really isn't my area of expertise.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity. Let us work!
Okay, I'm just going to leave now. Goodbye. Okay, so these guys are in a strike and they want to get in and I want to get in too.
Scab?
Oh, this guy. Hello.
What did he just call you? Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that fucking kid.
Wait, he called me a fag! No! No, I don't want to deal with this again. Did I just call me a fag? Yeah, I'm a scab. Pour and down, rodent. Wave your fist right to work. I'm not a scab, I'm a cop. Yeah, just say you're a cop. You're like, man.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
What? Let's just cop for less. What?
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north?
I've come to.
Strife?
I need to know what's behind these gates. I'm exploring. I'm a bit short of money right now. Why is he asking everyone for money? What's the strike about anyway? I've come to Martinez and seeing a murder.
Murder, huh?
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
It's actually very fun and easy. You're right. It's almost impossible. I have no idea what I'm doing. No, don't say that to him. He's so unprofessional. Maybe you want to help me solve it by telling me who did it?
Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You can rule me out. Easier that way.
I need to know what's behind these gates.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits.
He gazes off the runabout and with a glint of longing. Does this mean you can't let me through the gate?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
Beneath the jolliness, he suddenly seems doubtful.
That's simple. I just walk in.
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in. Yeah,
Past
the
Measurehead?
2.5 meter tall Semini Supremus is there. Walk right past him,
Right. I just walk.
then press the button to unlock the door.
Haha.
Go past him again,
Okay.
and you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
For some reason, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that easy. Oh, gotcha. I think I have some question for you first.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
Sure
you.
thing, my friend. I can help you out.
What? He's going to give me money? Okay, I'm going to cash his. Oh
The
shit!
coin lands into your hand.
I
as if
catch
it has
it.
always belonged there.
I appreciate it.
Turns.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment.
How about you help me go through that gate, huh?
You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though.
Union has problems getting by.
Nothing to worry about really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last a strike though.
Every little bit helps, you know? Gotta spend money to make money.
Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry ass scab.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I think I talked anything I need to do. So do we go talk to the guy? We just try? Locked by electric means. Okay. The greater rival industrial arbor. Just going to let me through. Hello.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Wait, what?
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Say no name. Yup. What do you mean my body betrays? Yup. I'm going to say what going to size him up.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology?
A ripple of muscle passes underneath his skin. It lets you look. Damn. Showing me his muscle at that.
It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, I'm sandwich. You are not in danger because you are not a threat to me.
Still say nothing. Let him talk. Just puff up my chest.
What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
What? What do you mean?
You hear your heart pumping, fast and irregular. Your joints ache and you feel old, but still alive, somehow.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of this woman and your pedomorphic
I need to
friend.
stop doing monkey.
This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct, but it is a liability here on
This guy knows a lot about women.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
How about is an important I'm with the police and we need to get into an arbor? What do you mean my body betrays my degeneracy? Do we get into his play? Or do I just go straight up, I'm the police? You know, what path do I take? Let's play this game. Let's see what degeneracy.
You have succumbed to YOULL. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Hey, my breath is not that bad, bro. Enough, I need you to open the door. Smell your breath? Kim, is it really that bad? Wait, Al-Ghul?
Yes, Al-Ghul.
Al-Ghul. But what is Al-Ghul?
Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison. A parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
You mean alcohol? This explains everything.
Servitude to Al-Ghul does not explain everything. There are other reasons for your race descent.
Okay, you're right, I'm a servant of Al-Ghul, but I still need to enter the arbor. I don't have a problem with Al-Ghul, I just drink a little on the weekend. Now if I need to open the door. I need to get on his right side. I went into the path of playing his game. I'm a servant of you, Al-Ghul.
No, you don't.
Oh.
You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here.
Show him the ham still got it.
Actually, I think the ham sandwich race is still as it in them. The police, and I need you to comply now.
Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
Okay.
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah.
There is a button
Dang.
right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Come on, I just need you to move back to push him out of the way. Oh my god, you're right about all this. No, I just need to let me go into the arbor. Do I keep going at it? Come on, I just need to move about. Yeah, just.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from entering the arbor.
You're right, all this. Okay, just. Yeah, you're right, bro.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off. No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate.
What are those tattoos of yours supposed to mean? You serve the onion, don't you? Are they white?
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
He turns his eyes towards the arbor, seemingly bored with you.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however.
Oh, what is he? I want to find like if the friction out of him and just use it. Yeah, but you still served it. All those are the factor into your life. You keep telling yourself that. I'm sorry, of course I understand now. Deeper. Deeper? What do you mean deeper? Yeah, but still served it. Just, I'm sorry, of course I understand now. Deeper.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital. Something your race, naivistic communists, never did.
Oh, communism. Communism is pretty cool. I'm no communist. Individualism is my jam. My jam is a misuse fourth thing. Do I need to take a back? I just... Okay, I'm no communist.
Of course you are.
No, I'm a communist.
The failure of communism to challenge the world order is the core of your race fate. All around you, the fruits of its defeat. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted disease.
That's communism? Communism make rock and roll? I don't think that communism made rock and roll, bro. The failure of communism to challenge your world order is the core of your race faith. All around you, the fruit of its defeat. What?
Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music?
Oh yeah, rock and roll is really communist. I said I'm not a communist. I don't know who I am, but that's one thing I know. I've got in from disco, actually. Disco is cool. It's true, I'm a rock and roll star and rebel. Youth culture does not affect my thinking. I've got in from disco, actually.
Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while
Ooh.
having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done.
Well, at least they made disco, kinda.
I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural.
Yeah, your culture is so cool. You made disco, man. Okay, I'll ask, who are the Seminoles? I don't really know who the Seminoles are. I've recently experienced head trauma. Wonderful, I need to enter the harbor now. Okay, well, who are the Seminoles?
The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know.
So you were born and raised on the island before you moved to River Cole?
I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Elysium are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
You did come from the island, so you did not come from the island. Understood. Yeah, just understood.
Good.
Yeah, what do you think about this?
I don't think anything about this. We are wasting our time having this conversation.
Your pedomorphic friend is right. You should leave here with your tail between your legs.
Okay, well, for Kim, every conversation is a waste of time. And I think I'm done for today. That was fun, but yep. I'm done. That was fun. The conversation takes so long. I don't know how long the game is. I feel I didn't do anything. I just talked to like characters. I talked to the racist one and the rebel syndicate, whatever it's called, workers' rights. Communist and their workers' rights. What do we do? What do we do? I'm not sure what to do.
To my head,
You know, we'll just watch what I've been watching. Little Peterson Huberman. There we go.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs.
and I made them into
Dancing and dance, that's the same thing. What do you mean?
Hi, I'm Ronnie.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then of course we have this notion in this country that in any moment it could be a rags to riches or some overnight fame type of thing that exists as a possibility in our culture that in a way that it hadn't prior. So I think that one of the things that could be useful, just venturing a hypothesis here, is that young and older people could take a look at their life and ask, over what variation of timescales do I derive reward?
Yeah, definitely.
Training for a marathon is a longer time scale of
Well,
reward
that's also
endeavor.
a hallmark of maturity.
Yeah,
right?
School, a degree, etc. In business, the time scales are sometimes fast, sometimes short.
I think you can ask even a better question than that. The better question would be, and this is kind of what's referred to in the Sermon on the Mount, is how could I optimize my long-term view while maximizing my focus on the moment? Because then you get both. That's a really good deal, right? Because now you're conducting yourself in a manner that works in an iterated way, that's socially productive, right? And maybe intergenerationally socially productive. That would be the best thing to establish. That's kind of what you're doing as a good father. But you're doing that in a manner that enables you to also derive maximal impact from each step you take forward in the present. So
Each step is the best step for the long
we're
term.
talking about entropy.
And taking the best step in the moment makes you the best short term, but also the long term thing too.
And
That's what I was saying.
I'd figured out a few years ago with a couple of my students that anxiety signifies the emergence of entropy, like technically, which I was really thrilled about because it gives emotion a physical grounding, like a real physical grounding. And Friston surprised me because he said he has a theory of positive emotion that's analogous. He also knew the negative emotion. He'd also been working in that domain. He said that you get a dopamine kick when you reduce the entropy in relationship to a goal. And I thought, oh my God, that's so cool because it means that uncertainty is entropy. When it emerges, you get anxious. But when you see yourself stepping towards a goal, you get a dopamine kick. And the reason that's an entropy related to entropy is because with each successful step you take towards a goal, you reduce the uncertainty of the pursuit, which is manifested in that phenomena you described, which is when you see the finish line, you start running faster. Right, so they're both related to entropy.
Well, to have goals at multiple time scales,
yes.
you need to be able to I love this entropy argument. It makes total sense that
Entropy. I don't understand the concept of entropy. I feel it's shown everywhere, and I don't really know. Just like entropy being kind of moves, right? Entropy. Yeah, the energy, like it just gets, if you have good goal, the entropy gets there.
withstand the periods of time when you don't know whether or not things are becoming more or less uncertain. This is part of becoming an adult, if you will.
Okay. So that was exactly the thread. So there's two corollaries of that. One is that the more valuable the goal towards which you're progressing, the higher the dopamine kick per unit of advancement. So what that means is you want an ultimate goal operating in the domain of each proximal sub-goal. And that's what happens with this upward orientation. It's like what you're trying to do is to make things as good as they could be, whatever that means, over the longest possible span of time for the largest number of people, you included. Now, you're not going to know exactly how to do that, but that could be your goal. Okay, now that's going to inform your
just an ideal. The perfect ideal you need to strive for into the long term. And by that, it's more easy to kind of know what you're going to do right now to get to that ideal. And the closer you get to that ideal, the more dopamine like rush or whatever you'll get. And that's like,
perceptions and your perceptions of pathway, but it's also going to modify your reward system because now every proximal step forward is an indicator of entropy reduction in regard to that meta goal. Well, there isn't any, by definition, there isn't anything you can do that's more exciting than that. See, that kind of explains why your friend was able to pop out of his addictive frame because now he's doing something that's so worthwhile that the temptation of alcohol, let's say.
And you can use that ideal self or whatever it's called for like addictions too. You create another path that is going to make you addicted to another path than the addiction you're trying to get through. If you want to stop alcohol, if you find a way to get a new path that's more rewarding, then the alcohol itself is going to be easier to like take the other path. That's why his friend with the religion thing, it was easier to get him to fight against the addiction because the religion setting kind of gave him like a more rewarding path to take instead of the alcoholism, whatever it's called. That's cool.
Pales in comparison. Right. And
it's a rewriting of the reward contingencies.
Yeah, right, exactly. And now you could imagine a situation where a culture explores across time to find out how to characterize that goal such that if that goal is pursued, people integrate psychologically in a manner that integrates them socially across large spans of time. I think that's what happens when the monotheistic revelation emerges. That's what's happening from a biological perspective, is that we're starting to characterize the longest term goal. Yeah, something like that.
And yeah, religions are always like that, in that ballpark. They always have that ideal self that the society and the individual needs to go through. You know? It's always at that place. And like, once we kind of secularized our societies, you know, science and reason kind of took place. Or like the state kind of too. You know? Took that place of that ideal self. Instead of religion, but like religion still like I stick in a lot of places. I feel like they're American and North American, so there's like more that, but maybe if you, I don't know.
This is why I believe that pornography is potentially so poisonous, because the level of uncertainty is basically zero.
Yeah.
People can access what they want to see. They can keep foraging until they find it.
Yeah.
And that's not the way that relationships work. The way relationships work is ask somebody out, they might say yes, they might say no. You go out on a date, they might not want a second date.
Well, and that's all
things
very...
could progress. You might think that you're on the path to one thing, and it turns out it doesn't work, or you're not compatible. You know, I mean,
that's also extremely salutary, because if you're being rejected, like say you're a foraging male and you're being rejected all the time, and you forego that for pornography, what you're foregoing is the corrective that all those women are offering you. Like, they're rejecting you because there is something wrong. Like, seriously, there's something wrong. And now you escape from that. You think, well, that's a relief because no more rejection. It's like, yeah, no more rejection, no more learning, no more improvement, and no possibility of an actual life, right?
No.
At the same time, I feel we don't... it's kind of dumb to, like, overgeneralize porn, you know? It's not like the end of all. You know, it's not because you watch porn or whatever, you get, like, no improvement in your life. You know, it's not like end of it. You know, I feel that's a bit extreme.
No action at a distance.
Yeah. No distal accomplishment, right?
Yeah. The only implication of the pornography masturbation scenario is more pornography masturbation. That's the only implication of it. That's all that possibly.
No. It's like, oh, you can't even enjoy sexually masturbation in porn. I feel that there could be like a golden spot with that. Okay, I understand like anything. Taking too much, like fast food is bad, but at the same time, it's, you know, I don't think we need to make it so extreme, you know. I feel like everyone, I don't know.
It's worse than that, because it's more pornography in a degenerating game, because as you said, you have to chase that novelty edge.
Otherwise, dopamine is driven down further.
Well, and that means what? It's going to get more and more extreme? Well, that's...
I mean, how much... I understand some people do have the addiction, but at the same time, it's like... I don't think it's that extreme, you know? Yeah, sure, there's, like, cases that becomes that, but, like, on a large-scale plan, I don't think it's going to impact the thing they're talking about. I think it's just going to impact sexuality itself, not the rest that's around it, you know? It's like, I feel they talk about porn like it's going to make you, like... fucking degenerate or something. When my own opinion is just going to fuck a bit with your sexuality, depending on how you're going to see sexual stuff. But you know, we'll see. I feel they just like put it like way more than what it is. I understand like dopamine and like I don't know.
It's not a good scenario. That's not a good, like, what do you mean more and more extreme exactly? Like, where does that end? Well, you know, a casual glance at online pornography can give you some real insight into where that ends. Like, that's a bottomless pit. And
you see, slippery slope again. It goes like, oh no.
Sexuality can definitely twist itself into pathological forms that undermine psychological integrity and demolish society.
So they're like, look, I don't know how much they say. I don't know how much he's like a Freudian kind of guy, but like how much is sexuality a basis of like your whole personality? You know, how much if fucking with the your sexuality is going to fuck with the rest of you, of your identity. I feel that's a bit extreme to say. You know, like I understand sexuality should be like something to be healthy with, and I don't think porn is the way to go. It's like fast food, but like how much is like just destroying your whole identity. It's like
We see this with people who are highly successful who seem to have lots of areas of their life regulated, and then they collapse their lives. I mean, we sometimes see it with drugs of abuse as well.
Yeah.
Although unless those drugs of abuse are dopaminergic and people have them in check, so to speak, which is exceedingly rare.
Yes.
It's usually just a matter of time, and they don't reach the mountaintop.
Yes, well, time is the problem, as we've been pointing out. Let me tell you another story. This is from Revelation. So Revelation is a vision of the end of time. Okay, now time ends all the time. Like our adventures end, our lives end, our relationships end. So the end has a pattern. Okay, Revelation is a vision of the eternal pattern of the end. So here's an element of the vision. It's so remarkable. I figured this out with my friend Jonathan Pageau. So there's a vision, a subvision in the sequential dream of Revelation of the scarlet beast and the whore of Babylon. And it's very relevant to our discussion on pornography. You'll understand it right away. So it's a vision of how society disintegrates. Okay, now imagine when society disintegrates, men disintegrate according to their pattern, and women disintegrate according to their pattern. That makes perfect sense, right? Because if society disintegrates, it's going to be men and women who disintegrate. There's no reason to assume that their pattern of disintegration would be identical. Okay, scarlet beast that's the scarlet beast of the state. That's Babylon. Okay, it's going to be men and women who disintegrate. There's no reason to assume that their pattern of disintegration would be identical. Okay, scarlet beast that's the scarlet beast of the state. That's Babylon, let's say. That's the degenerate tyrannical state. It has multiple heads. Why? Because whatever united it has vanished. That's like the death of God. It's vanished. And so now it's got heads in every direction. So it's confused. And it's red, scarlet, because that confusion, that disintegration is the precursor to the river of blood, right? The Red Sea, the swamp of chaos. So when the patriarchal state disintegrates, it loses its unity, and then it's multiple heads, right? And that's the emblem of descent into diverse chaos.
And gazes everywhere with these multiple heads.
Precisely. It's not integrated. Okay, now that's the disintegration of the patriarchy, you might say. Atop that is the whore of Babylon.
They're like saying like, oh, because patriarchy is not there, it's chaos, which is like kind of extreme. You know, I think we can give. I think it's more than that. Why did he went there? I don't understand his link now. We were to porn and now we're like society is disintegrating because of porn. I think it's
Babylon. That's a beautiful woman who's subordinated her psyche to the demands of sexuality. She's the mother of all prostitutes, right? So she's extremely attractive and she's clad in gold and she holds a cup. It's very graphic imagery that has nothing but the consequences of her fornication in it.
Is this like,
right?
I mean, I guess I will just say it. Recently, there's been a number of posts on X of this woman who had sex with 100 men in a day. And now she's saying she's going to have sex with 1,000 men in a day.
Yeah, well, she seems to be rethinking her plan given the emotional consequences she had to her last success.
Yeah, I must say.
Her mother is her finance officer.
I'm speechless.
That's for sure.
I'm speechless. My response to
sexuality,
her kind of post 100 men thing.
Sexuality is the basis of cohesion. That's the thing. I think it's just like they believe like the sexuality is such the cohesion of like society. If sex is not regulated or I don't know what, the rest is going to fall through. And I'm like, that's extreme. I don't know, man. How much is your personality sex, you know? It's like, are you that horny? Are you that horny, Jordan Peterson? I'm sorry.
It was hard for me to know to what extent that was part of the whatever
performance, probably hard for
whatever it
everyone
was,
too.
you know. So it was hard for me to discern what was really going on there. I'm not a psychologist, but anyone who saw that would say this is a pretty dark situation.
It's way darker than anybody who wanted to hold on to their sanity would possibly imagine.
What's also dark, and I'm not saying this from a place of moral judgment, I'm just saying this from a place of just kind of like wow, like this woman obviously navigating life in this way, her choice, clearly. But the fact that so many people know about this, the fact that so many people, and here we're talking about it, but I think in service to a greater good, I certainly believe, like that this is now out there. Right, it's out there. Just like seeing somebody, just like seeing somebody murder somebody in cold blood. We could talk about
That's
that
right.
recently. A video of an assassination that and those had been available before, but those two things kind of leveled up or leveled down. You know, one's idea of what humans are capable of by allowing
and
so
what's
many people.
acceptable.
what's acceptable.
Yeah, but I think as a society, as a culture, how much can we say we're kind of at that point of like testing the boundaries of what it is to be human? You know, I'm just saying with all that AI shit and all that technology and all that connection, it's like I feel we're at that point that we're just testing. You know, it's like what it means to be sexuality, what it means to be conscious, what it means to be violent. Not violent. I hope not. I hope not. I hope we're not going to test that shit. But you know, I just feel it's like we're at that point of like our culture and stuff like that in arts that we're testing the boundaries of what it means to be us. You know, just because of how much outside of us we see technology questioning what we are. You know, seeing AI being able to talk that much is like, it's just like a way to make us like question what it means to be us. You know. So that's why I think it's that we're like going into those zone of interest, and like now those things are like much more easy to make it more visible too. You know. Anyways, that's my theory. I don't know anything. Okay, I'm dumb. I don't know nothing.
Shifted.
That's for sure.
Maybe that's what I'm looking for. The threshold shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The threshold, yeah, but why is the threshold holding? Why do you think the threshold is like getting there? I think it's the same thing with politics. I feel like the old gender thing is another like reason of why we're at that point of like testing the boundaries of what it means to be human. You know, like gender is like a basis for like so many years, and now we're like getting to that zone of like questioning what it means to be like a guy or a girl. The same applies with sex, what it means to have a sexuality. Porn is everywhere. There's also the gender that goes through it, and I just feel it's like right now everyone is like kind of there, right? And like again, I don't know, but I feel when I hear Peterson talk is like that sexuality we keep testing is like such a foundation of all the cohesions, and I don't know if I agree with this, but at the same time it's interesting to say like how much could you tell your identity is based upon your sexuality or whatever it's called, you know? So yeah, interesting, really cool, interesting.
That's a great example. That young woman who's betrayed herself in the deepest possible manner, and all of the people that are following her, and all.
But again, it's like there's like a certain like moral thing with Peterson. Like I talked about that before. There's like I feel the way he thinks about stuff is like really good or bad. It's like a moral compass kind of. When doing science, it's like he's not doing that much science there because like he's getting to a subject of like meaning and stuff like that, which is like I don't know, like how much morality and good and bad needs to be done there, and like I feel that's where he's getting with the sexuality thing and like the girl with having like underneath like guys that she fucking a day or whatever. I don't know, man. It's interesting.
All the young women who are influenced by her. So you have this figure on the back of the degenerate state. That's the degenerate feminine. Female sexuality commoditizes when the masculine state degenerates. That's a sign of the end of things. And that makes perfect sense because, well, why wouldn't female sexuality commoditize when the masculine is no longer reliable? It's exactly what you'd expect. You know how
and he's saying for him is like why that girl got to that extreme is not because of just pushing boundaries. Well, my theory, okay? My theory is that as our culture evolves and as technology evolves with us, we're at a point that we're testing what it is, the boundaries of like what it is to be a being, you know? And for him, it's like, no. It's because of gender dynamics that got like reduced. Because the gender dynamics are not as rigid as before, it kind of went into the sexuality, and one of the proof of that imbalance is that the extreme case of sexuality like that girl. So he's saying that. Okay, so I see. Okay, I see. I hope I make it. I make the two like thinking path clear here. Okay, there's like two paths. That's my goal here.
Story ends. There's another element to it.
And like we go back, like that degeneracy is going to impact the culture himself. That's going to impact all society degenerate or whatever.
Degenerate state offers the whore of Babylon as enticement for its.
He's a right winger.
So. On the sexual side. At the end of that sub-story, the state, the beast, kills the prostitute. And so what that means is that the long-term consequences of sacrificeless sexual satiety is that sexuality itself is destroyed. And I think we're seeing that in our society now. 30% of Japanese under the age of 30 are virgins, right? It's about the same in South Korea, right? The birth rates in those countries have plummeted. Like they're way, way below replacement. And increasing.
But can you all those sexuality problem, are they all in the basis of gender and like the dynamic between guys and girls? Is that really all there? I don't know, man. I feel it's a bit like too simplifying a bigger problem about our sexuality in today's world. I think putting the problem only on the gender dynamic is like kind of like it's probably more complex than that, you know? I feel there's like, you know, a bit too simple.
In the West are childless at 30.
Yeah, birth rates are way, way down.
I think that's what I'm understanding from him. Okay, I'm not sure what if he's really saying that. I don't want to like missay what he's trying to say, but that's what I'm kind of seeing. I think I don't know nothing. Okay, he got the PhD. I'm a dumbass. Okay, I don't.
Going down as well. 50% are childless. Half of them will never have a child because 30 is already pushing it, and 95% of them will regret it. We're already in a situation in the West where 1 in 4 women will be involuntarily childless. Right, and so well, that's a good example, as I said earlier, of how these things are characterized in this symbolic language that outlines the starkest, you might say, the starkest of biological realities. You said that there was a problem, you know, your sense was that there was a problem with effortless gratification. It's like, well, part of the problem with effortless gratification is it destroys itself. And it's so interesting because the promise of the sexual revolution and the pill was an unlimited horizon of sexual opportunity. Okay, we know, but the actual consequence of that appears to be that's the pathway to the demise of sexuality itself.
This was if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Someone I know who was in their 20s in the 1970s explained to me, I always thought that song was about, you know, if you can't be with the person that you love, you know, you find someone else you can love. They explained to me that's not what that was about. That was about the wildness of the 70s.
Right, that promise.
Yeah, that was about the sort of
Yeah, but the sexual liberation is more than just having sex with everyone. It's also like, you know, no shame to just have someone and like not liking sex or like it doesn't. You don't. I think there's also this thing in today's world. You know, the pressure you have to fuck. It's like, I feel that's probably a consequences to what they say, but like, I forgot what I'm trying to say here. Anyways,
promiscuity had emerged as a theme of the 1970s.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
In the aftermath of the birth control pill, it was not surprising.
And I could, you know what? I could defend like a promiscuity. It shouldn't be like the thing that's as pushed. You know, you shouldn't be like felt pressure to just fuck or whatever. It shouldn't be like a social. You know,
people thought maybe that was possible, but that was wrong. It was seriously wrong, and we're going to be dealing with the consequences of that for a very long time.
Yeah, again, he's talking like it's going to be like the worst thing ever. I don't think it's going to be that bad. It's going to be just like we're going to have a weird, in my opinion, a weird like sexual realization of like I don't know how. I don't think it's going to be that bad. You know.
You said that
I guess I don't know. I don't know.
That the patriarchy, the masculine fails before the.
Well, no,
before
I would
the
say that happened. No, I would say that happens in concert.
Yeah,
sure,
in concert.
Sure, it's a feedback.
So it's not called.
Oh, okay.
No,
right.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's like causal. It's just at the same time. Masculinity is kind of like getting his own way, and like at the same time, sexuality too. Well, like, okay.
Men and
That's what
women degenerate at the same rate, right? I mean, we're involved in feedback processes that are so tight that there's no there's no oppressing women without oppressing men. There's no oppressing men without oppressing women. It's like we're
men that oppress women are oppressing themselves too. That's what. Yep. You know, that masculinity is kind of like oppressing men themselves. You know, it's like limits how they can be. You know, it's like
joined at the hip, so to speak, and so. You know, these cultures that cloak women and silence them, you might think, well, that leads to the domination of men. It just turns men into pathological tyrants. Like, there's no victory over one sex that's a victory of any sense at all.
It's anti-humanity.
Of course.
I don't know their link with morality here. I don't know, like...
And silence them. You might think, well, that are so tight that there's no oppressing women without oppressing men. There's no oppressing men without oppressing women. It's like we're joined at the hip, so to speak. And so, these cultures that cloak women and silence them, you might think, well, that leads to the domination of men. It just turns men into pathological tyrants. Like there's no victory over one sex that's a victory of any sense at all.
It's anti.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Can we stop using the Pomodoro method?
Can we stop with the ads, please?
To our bodies. They are too
I don't
There was
care.
a recent post on X that just held my gaze, my attention.
Anyways, I kind of missed what the end said, but yep.
Where it was a back and forth debate, a pseudo-political social debate, and then there were three words that I'll just say that.
What do you do?
Morgan
Premium
Greason
mom
said,
bought
you
it.
know, it was
Yeah, one day.
about
The thing is, because I run like 3 accounts at the same time, so that's why.
restoring vigor, pride, and achievement. And I thought, wow, like he's not a political candidate, but that's a beautiful trifecta. Vigor, pride, humanity.
Of course.
There was a recent post on X that just held my gaze, my attention, where it was a back and forth debate, a pseudo-political social debate, and then there were three words that I'll just say that Mark Andreessen said, you know, it was about restoring vigor, pride, and achievement. And I thought, wow, like he's not a political candidate, but that's a beautiful trifecta: vigor, pride, and achievement.
Vigor, pride, and
To celebrate
achievement.
those. And I put that next to, you know, the deep pleasure in generative action at a distance, a technological development, the rockets, and there are other
I think that's
generative
exactly
achievements.
the theme of the story of Abraham. It's like the highest form of potential satiation is risky romantic adventure. It's not satiation, right? That's the wrong frame, right? And so one of the things I've noticed, this is such fun. I've talked in front of, I don't know how many public audiences in the last 8 years, independent of my professorial career. And those are large audiences. You know, they must average about 3,000 or 4,000 people. And there's one place I go that always reduces the audience to like dead silence. The audiences are usually quiet in the events, you know, and that's one of the ways, I'm sure you know this, is you want to listen to the audience. You want to stay in that zone where no one's moving, right? Because then you know their attention is focused, and you can hear that, and you can I wouldn't say you can play with it, not manipulatively, but in the proper sense of play. I learned a long while ago that adventure, let's say, is the highest form of reward. That's a good way of thinking about it. But there's a corollary to that conservatives need to learn, because they don't know this. Conservatives talk about responsibility, but they're conscientious. And so for them, responsibility is dutiful, orderly productivity. It's conscientiousness. Responsibility is a conscientious duty. What they fail to understand is that there's no difference between responsibility and adventure. They're the same thing. And you can tell young men in particular that. Say, look, you want to have an adventure, because you definitely want an adventure. You're built for that. It will increase your status. It will improve your life. Like it'll improve the probability that you'll accomplish something. You want an adventure. Every fiber of your being is screaming for it. Where do you find it? You find it in the voluntary adoption of responsibility. And that's like, everyone needs to know that. No young person has been taught that.
And you know, it's kind of reminding me of like of that fucking Hindu stuff. You know, the dharma and the responsibility. I know even less about that shit, but like there's something about the thinking upon a responsibility, which is kind of cool.
5 generations.
This is important. Can we operationalize this? So in your first book, you talked about get your room in order.
Yeah.
One of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning, I look around the kitchen, I look around my room, and I try and get things in order.
Yeah.
And I now need that in order to be able to think clearly. But it's just a first order of business.
Well, it's also a great morning ritual, because it's often the case, especially if you have a bit of a depressive tilt, that it's kind of hard to get oriented properly in the morning, you know. And if you take, like, I moved into a new house a while back in Northern Ontario, and the garage wasn't set up properly. And the first thing I did in the morning was I went out in the garage for 10 minutes. And 10 minutes isn't very long, but I would like order one thing, you know, part of the toolbox or whatever. And like if you do that every day, things fall into order pretty quickly. But it was a real relief to me in some way, because I didn't have to think about what I was going to do when I woke up. I made my bed, and then I went and fixed the garage for like 10 minutes.
And you get the brain into what I call linear operations, like the ability to carry out something linearly when there's a near infinite number of options in your phone, in your physical.
It just
space.
starts your machine the right direction.
Picking a target.
Absolutely.
And it certainly isn't a sinful target. And you know it's not sin to clean your room or to organize your space or the garage.
Yeah.
So you start with it. So within the day.
And there's probably something about just mentally organizing stuff. Maybe it's like better to afterwards like organize IDs or I don't know what.
Do that.
Could we-
In terms
that's-
of,
that's cool.
I really love the stickiness, the positive stickiness of this idea that adventure and responsibility are the same thing.
Well, let's take that apart because it's not immediately obvious. But look, when you go, let's say you go see an adventure movie, James Bond movie, you know, classic archetypal action adventure movie with some romance thrown in there. What is he doing? Well, difficult things.
He's trying to solve crimes. He's trying to catch bad guys.
Yeah, he's trying to battle with the forces of chaos that undermine the international order, right? I mean, it's high order adventure. And he's putting himself at substantive risk to do that. That's the sacrificial element to it. But everybody's gripped by it. Well, why? Because the stakes are high. What does it mean for the stakes to be high? It means the outcome matters. What does that mean? It means it's a life and death situation. Like, none of that makes itself present without the hoisting of a burden. And here's something else I figured out, so remarkable. So I went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, which is the first church that was the first Christian church that was established. And hypothetically, it was established on the location of the crucifixion, right? And so at the center of the church is an altar, and at the center of the altar is the image of this crucifixion, right? Which is a sacrificial image. Okay. Crucifixion, sacrificial image, altar, church. Then around the church is the community. And then that becomes the pattern for European towns, right? And all the towns that everyone wants to go visit in Europe have that pattern. Okay, so why? Well, responsible sacrifice is at the core of the community. That's what's dramatized in all that, in that architecture, in that sacred architecture, in the actual, in the structure of the community with its center. Well, of course, sacrifice is the center of the community. Obviously, because
it's one way to it's one way.
Insofar as you're not all about what you want right now, you're offering up a sacrifice of what it is that you want right now to the future and the community. Clearly, and that's going to integrate you psychologically, it's going to integrate the society and make it productive. And it's so interesting that we acted that out for, that proposition out for, well, the whole, at least insofar as you're talking about Christian-oriented
Well, I don't know what he's
civilization.
talking about. Okay, I'm done with this. What do I do? Do I do one more league game?